Hello and welcome to episode 35 of the Hollywood Knitter Podcast. My name is Allison and I'm your host. I'm recording on Sunday, June 17th, 2018 from my home in LA. It is Father's Day in the United States, so happy Father's Day to any fathers who happen to be listening. Unfortunately, I, of course, live far away from my dad, but I did call him this morning and they're planning a barbecue and people over, and he's seeing some families in town, so it was good. But I do miss sometimes being far away from my family because I can't go see them on holidays like this and go have fun with them. But there's a lot of good things about living far away from family too. Anyways, I thought I would sneak in an episode before I leave for ZK this week because one, I have some finished objects, one of which I want to get in the mail before I leave, so I want to show it to you before that. And then two, to share all of my cast-ons. I just did a crazy cast-on day yesterday because of ZK, because you need certain kinds of projects. And then I just, not nuts, but more than I usually do. Anyways, so this will probably be a relatively quick episode, but that's always good too. Let's start off with my FOs. Let's start off with the big one. So I finished my mom's birthday shawl. This is A Day to Remember by Joji Locatelli, and the yarn is Ethereal Fibers and Special Cucumber Unit. And this baby is like 90 inches, roughly 91 inches lengthwise, and then 20 inches this way. And I used 93% of the skein. I used 93 grams, which ended up being 800 yards. So this is a pretty massive shawl, but very lightweight because it's lace. So of course it would be lightweight. Modifications, I just did a few more of the repeats at the end. You can kind of see it's pretty easy. It's so simple. It's a garter stitch with just some eyelets. So I just did another eyelet row or two, I can't remember. And then on the end, which my bind off is slightly tight, but I still think it works, I did the Icelandic bind off. So it's not exactly an elastic edge, but it was elastic enough for this. So I liked that. And then the other modification I did at the top, if you'll remember, to make it less crescent-y and more straight at the top, which is what I prefer. I did a yarn over. So it calls for like a knit to the beginning of every one. So I did a knit one yarn over at the beginning of every row and then drop that yarn over when I came to it. So that created more stretch at the edge. So I got a straight edge as opposed to a tighter one for a crescent. So yeah, I'm happy to be done with this. I liked it. It was easy knitting, obviously, once I made myself get in the groove, but it was just monotonous. So monotonous. And it's long enough, though, my mom can wear it as like a shawl over her shoulders. So much long. She could, swing it around. It's so light and airy, she can actually just make it like this and do it like a scarf, which is how I do it, or however she wants. But her birthday is the 28th, so since I'm going to ZK and I'll be gone, I wanted to get this in the mail today. Get it there early. So yeah, so excited. This took me, well, too long. I started it in February and finished it in June, so 3 months. And it wasn't anything to do with the pattern. I just didn't focus on it a lot. And lace just takes a while. It just absolutely does. I mean, by the end, I had 500 and something stitches on the needles, and yeah. But it's beautiful. She picked out the pattern. She won the yarn at the Fall Fling in Colorado in October. And I said I would knit it, and she picked the pattern, and hopefully she'll like it. So excited about that. Let me throw that up here. I don't know what's in that basket. I don't want it to go too deep. The other thing I finished was my pair of socks. The Laker socks I was making for the boyfriend, and these was yarn he picked out at Stitches West, and the yarn is White Birch Fiber Arts, and Parties Weren't Meant to Last, and it does this really awesome radiating coolness. Just the self-striping is awesome. I did do different color for heels and toes. It was just a purple that I had that I got from SSK? No, that I got from Zombie and Apocalypse. That was in one of the bags. So I picked that out and did it. These were the socks I had to, the first one that I knit 3 times because the fish lips by itself is too tight over his instep, so I had to do some increases here and then do a larger kind of fish lips heel, which I like in the self striping. And then I decreased right down here and then did the leg. So yeah, and you can see how long it is in my sock blockers. These are my sock blockers. Normally my socks are like that, but he likes them tall because, which took forever. Well, it doesn't take forever, but you know, when you're knitting a 10-inch high leg, but he likes to be able to wear them if he wants to work with his boots. And your boots are high, your work boots, so they need to be higher socks. So yeah, I've been knitting on these since March, so it was good to get these off the needles. And my next socks, which I'll show you, are going to be much smaller, which makes me happy. They'll be done much sooner. But yeah, I love the yarn. I'm hoping that when I haven't washed them yet. I usually just stick them on the blocker and then wash them after the first wear. And how I wash them is all of my socks go into the washing machine on a hand knit cycle by themselves, and then I air dry them. So that seems to work pretty well. So yeah, so I have 2 FOs, and that meant I didn't have that much I was knitting on. I do have, and I haven't touched my blankets, too big to bring with me. I did briefly start a mother bear. I have half a leg, but again, my scraps and everything to go with that, not exactly travel for me. And because you have to stuff as you go and things like that, not portable. And then I haven't done any of my Christmas ornaments for last month, this month. I'll get back to it at some point. So I needed to have projects to bring to ZK. Now I'll show you the one that I still have in progress, which is my Walk Along by Anne Streak. And I am going to bring this. Normally I don't bring sweaters because I travel via plane, but this is pretty light considering it's fingering weight. And let's pull the needles down so you can see it when I pull it up. I have done, it's really easy when I work on it, so I have done a little bit so you can kind of see. So this is my striping pattern I'm doing where I'm striping in the green because I didn't have enough of the brown. It really calls for a solid color or the pattern. And then you just do the pops at the kind of the edges, but I didn't have enough, so I am doing a stripe. I'm doing a kind of made it up, 4 rows, 3 rows, 2, 1, and then increasing with the alternating colors. The only thing this has on the edge is this kind of like, not a slip, almost like a slip stitch. Ooh, hello. Out of focus. There you go. My phone had a little wonky moment. Anyways, so you can see the edge, and I'm just, all it is sort of A-line, so every 20 rows I'm increasing. And I'm gonna bring it. I still have a fair amount of both left, probably a little over half the balls. So I'm going to continue knitting on it because it is relatively mindless. I just have to pay attention to changing the colors, and every 20 rows doing some increases. Not too bad. And I'm hoping to have it done this month. That would be really great, and be able to start my next garment because this one's taking forever in my fat squirrel bag, which I adore. So because that was my only kind of project I had on, I had to cast more on. So first I cast, because I finished the socks, I cast on another sock. And my niece has been asking for socks for a while. When I saw her in May, she asked again, and so I decided to make her some. I don't know, she's 8. I don't know if she's gonna wear them or like them, or she just wanted them because she wants things. But I did pick up the pink yarn from San Juan Capistrano Fiber Arts, I think. Capistrano Fiber Arts Superwash Wool. She had 2 like mini skeins that made balls of 100 and something. So I ended up picking, which my colors aren't really contrasting enough, but I still like it. This is the Static Zing by Megan Williams, Just Run It. And since I'm going to her retreat, I thought it was apropos. I ended up casting on the toe size for the extra small, and then after getting the measurements from my mom and my sister, I decided to make her the small, figuring it's better if it's a little bigger because it will wear a little longer, especially because I'm going to give it to her in the summer. She's not going to wear it. But the colors, though they don't look very super contrasty here yet, or on the back, they kind of meld together. One is this really lighter pink and one is this dark pink. So when the lines come up from the slip stitches, I think it will become more pronounced as I go. And it's a super simple pattern so far, and you know, she's got a small foot. I think I'm up to, I don't know, 50 stitches, something like that. Should be easy. So I'm bringing these, but because they are patterned and I'm alternating, you know, yarns and it's slip stitches, it's not exactly mindless knitting. So I was like, well, I need to have mindless knitting. So I finished a shawl, which means I need to cast on another shawl. So let me find out which one that was in. This one, I think. I wound up and did this. It's gonna be in my kitchen counter crafter bag that I picked up, I think, last year at ZK from Java Jenny. And in this, I have this gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. This is Expressions yarn. It's a 50% merino, 50% silk single ply that I got from a yarn swap at Knockers, I think last year. And I've had it picked out for this pattern for a while, and I don't think I have actually a picture of the pattern. It's the Aperture Shawl by Amba O'Brien, and I didn't print the first page, which had a picture. But it is a very simple-ish looking shawl here. This is how much I got so far. Which has some cool lace details kind of as you go. Really simple lace, easy to follow, kind of goes out, and I'll show you the lace charts. So, you know, just simple lace, and this is gorgeous to knit with. Originally I cast on with 5 and I got about this much done, and it was too tight. You know, this should be more drapey. So I went up to a size 6 on it, and I have about 500 or so yards, so I'm going to try to use them all up. And I'm not sure who this is going to be for, if it's going to be for me, but it feels so soft. Oh, so soft. The merino silk is going to be awesome. So I cast this on, which has a chart, so it's not exactly mindless either. But I needed to cast another shawl on, and I had to cast for my queue because I have a number of shawls, and I thought this would be easy because this was, I think I have a lot of 2-color shawls that I have in my queue that I have yarn for right now, and this was like one that be able to just take the one. This will be good airplane knitting because it's pretty mindless, but I still need to look at the chart occasionally to make sure I'm creating new lace yarn overs where I need to. So cast on for that. And I also cast on for a hat because a hat is always good mindless. And I didn't have a lot of yarn in my stash. Oop, that's not the one. Kind of just looking. So I had picked up a random skein at Joann's when I was there getting some other yarn of this, which is an Aran weight, and it's big yarn twist, ombre, and cupcake confetti. So I just went online and looked for a hat, and I'm going to make the Copycat CC Colorado Chick beanie. It's kind of hard to see because it's in white, but it's just knits and pearls, some knitted, some pearl stitches, and then some twisted rib alternating. It has a folded brim, which is why I have waste yarn, and yeah, it's actually, yeah, it'll work. Maybe a little light, loose. Crap. I might need to go down some. Anyways, I will figure that out today. I haven't gotten very far, as you can see, but it looks like I'm going to knit it for charity, but I have a big head, so if it's already big on me, it's going to be big. So I'll look at that. But anyways, that's what I'm going to do because it's pretty, this is really mindless. It's like pearl or twisted rib, which I can do without paying attention, and it's Aran weight, so it should go fast. And then I'll have another charity hat, and I have it in my beautiful bag. This is from That Squirrel, and it's her bee fabric, which I adore. And it's her, I think her sock size. Then I was still worried I wouldn't have enough mindless. So I pulled out my yarn for my knitted knockers and said, I know I want to knit more knitted knockers for next year. Why don't I go ahead and get a jump on it? So I have barely casted on a knitted knocker with some Universal Bamboo Pop, which is a 50% cotton, 50% linen. It's Only approved. And these are the prosthetic boobies that you knit that are given to people who are undergoing breast cancer treatment. And I have this in my new Frog Peak Creations bag that I won at Knockers this year. It's got a cool this on the back, and I have all 3 colors of my pop in here, and that can also be a mindless pickup project because you need variety when you go. But I also need to only bring small projects because even though I need variety, I am flying and I try to not check luggage or anything like that. So then I unexpectedly cast out one more project. So we decided to go to the movies last night. Drinking tea in my new beautiful. That mug is so awesome. We decided to go to the movies last night, and we hadn't seen Solo yet. Excuse me, I got hair in my mouth. But then I was like, well, crap, I don't have any socks, or yeah, any mindless socks on the needles. I don't have any of my projects that I can do in the dark without looking. So an hour before we left, I went frantically scouring the Ravelry and my stash for something I could cast on and do in the dark. And I settled on a very simple cowl. Its inspiration was a Stephen knit, so I think I'm going to attribute it to him, though, because I didn't print his pattern and I was doing it in the dark, it wasn't exact. But it is just going to be a long cowl, and this is on US 9s, and this yarn was yarn that was given to me by a friend who picked it up at Joann's. It's an acrylic, probably not what I would have bought, but it will be fine. And this is Premier Yarn Sweet Roll in Silver Swirl. So I have 2 of these, and it just kind of gradiates between whites and grays. And I'm just going to do a very simple, it's got some, garter stitch and then stockinette and then with a purl ridge every 4 rows or something. And I'm just going to do that until I think it's wide enough. Hopefully it's long enough. I have it on a shorter needle, but you can see it's all kind of ruffled up. And that will be going to my gift box. And I'm going to keep this set aside for movie evening. It's not bad movie because I am kind of wrestling and pushing this around as I go. But we've been going to the theater with the recliner seats, which means you are not like right next to somebody. So even though I was messing it with my lap, I don't think it was that distracting. And then I put wooden tip needles on there so that the clink would be a little less. And on the real quiet scenes, like when I heard it, I stopped and would put it down for a second. And then there's a lot of action scenes. And in terms of Solo, I really liked it. I know there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there who didn't. And I can see why. Han Solo is such an iconic character that it is hard to see another actor play him and have to play him in a way that he's getting the mannerisms of the same actor for the character. With that said, I thought it was well done. I thought you could see the genesis of the character, and I thought it was a good story overall, and I was entertained. And that's usually all I require from a movie. I felt that it was true to canon, and it addressed, different comments that had been made in the Star Wars movies about the character and how the Millennium Falcon, came to be and how he got him. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I got, to knit on the cowl. That probably will be for my sister because it's acrylic and she is allergic to all things pretty much but acrylic. So it might be a Christmas present for her already. And she likes cowls and then she loses them. So it'd be perfect. So yeah, I have 6 projects on the needles in front of me, not including my long-term projects, and that is a lot for me. I plan on getting some pictures and filling my Ravelry today. I got to take some FOs. As I said, I'm going to mail that out to my mom. Getting ready for ZK, so I'm doing laundry today and been looking at the weather and going to figure out what I'm going to bring. I tend to not to bring a lot of knitted garments again because knitted garments add bulk, but I have to decide. I'll bring a shawl. I'll bring, something. I'll bring something. and get all that. I am flying out early on Wednesday morning and I'm coming back on Sunday. I think actually I'm going to drive myself to the airport. My boyfriend will usually drive me to the airport, but it's not his favorite. And because I'm coming back on Sunday and they might have plans on Sunday, I didn't want him to have to not do something or whatever. So go drive myself to the airport. LAX is always fun, but it's a direct flight to Minneapolis, so that will be easy. And then a quick shuttle ride, and then I'll be there. And yeah, I'm really excited to go see everyone who's going to be there. And some of my friends who normally come aren't making it this year, which makes me sad, but that will just give me opportunity to hang out with more with my ones that are there and make some new friends. I'm going to try to go a little more outside of my comfort range, and maybe go talk to some more new people this year, which will be fun. Not exactly fun, but fun to meet. Knitters are always fun to talk to, but sometimes it's hard to push yourself. As a lot of people say, I am a very well-adjusted introvert. I have no problem going out and talking in public and talking to people, but that is not my default mode. And yeah, I definitely need my downtime afterwards. So that's always nice to go back to the hotel room and chill. And can I tell you how much I'm looking forward to being in a hotel room where I can sleep? I'm staying by myself this year, so I can sleep as late as I want, as quiet as I want. Like, I just want to sleep in so bad where nothing wakes me up. Like, I was able to sleep in today, but I was still woken up because he was going to see soccer this morning because World Cup has started and we're watching a lot of soccer. He's rooting for Mexico and their game was on early. All the games are on early, and so he's up at like 4:35 in the morning on the weekend and pretty much probably for the next month to watch soccer. And it just never fails to wake me. So I'm looking so forward to being able to sleep a solid 10 hours with no interruptions. No cats, no boyfriend wriggling, no work. It'd be awesome. Other than that, in terms after ZK, my sister and my niece and my nephew are coming out at the end of July, beginning of August. My niece and nephew are going to come out by themselves for a few days before my sister because she'll be at a conference, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. Thinking we're probably going to do Disneyland, Magic Mountain, something like that. They're kids. They like to just hang out too, so we'll maybe do some movies, something LA based. And then my sister gets here, and I think we're going to go down to San Diego for that weekend. Yeah, I haven't totally figured it out, but I think I want to do the San Diego Zoo, which I haven't done in a while. My niece has requested Legoland. I absolutely do not want to go to Legoland again. I went so many times with my nephew. And yeah, so maybe my sister and her can go, and my nephew and I will do something else because he's 17 now, and Legoland is definitely for 12 and under. It's a perfect park. Then in August, I'm going to see my girlfriend in Ohio. We're going to go to the Beyonce concert. So that'll be fun. I haven't seen her and her family for a while. It's probably since last summer. And then I think I have an international trip planned. I haven't gotten the final talk through, but I'm thinking of maybe doing a tour with my mom to Morocco in November. I'm really excited. I just have to decide to pull the trigger, basically. So I'm still thinking about it. I really want to do it, but I need to look and see if I can do it. If that makes sense. Anyways, I'll let you know if I end up booking it. It's going to be a tour with the same group that I went to India with, which I really enjoyed that style of touring. And yeah, so I was thinking this would be like a birthday trip for me. But if I do that, then I might not go to Rhinebeck. So we shall see. It's kind of close. Yeah, that's kind of all I have going today. I hope everyone is enjoying their Sunday. It is a gloomy gray day here, which is surprising because we've been having really warm weather, but I'm not complaining. I can drink tea and wearing a long sleeve. So I hope this finds everyone well. I will have another episode when I get back from Zombie and Apocalypse and let you know how my trip went and show you all the goodies that I'm sure to purchase, though I don't have a plan and I don't have any I have so much yarn for actually cute projects that I don't need to buy anything. So I'm not looking for anything specific project wise, but that doesn't mean that some lovelies will not fall into my hot little hands and go and be something sometime in the future. I remember a while ago at a point where I had this idea what my stash should be, and it should be like 100 skeins or less, and I'm less like that now. I enjoy the yarn. I enjoy looking at it. For me now, I don't want to grow my yarn storage. So I have some totes, I have a kind of a yarn cabinet, and I don't want to outgrow that. But I still have some room in there before I do that, so I will be okay. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say today. I hope everyone has a lovely day, as I said. You can find me as Allison1031 on Ravelry and Instagram. I have a Ravelry group, though not very active. I just kind of put some links to the podcast. But if you want to comment or have any questions about anything, because I don't really do show notes, drop a line there, or Ravelry message me, PM me, or follow me on Instagram. And I hope everyone is great. So I'm going to say that's a wrap from Hollywood, where fantasy meets fiber and dreams are knit. Bye, everybody.